Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Well, I've got a little something to show you. Not exactly, it's not good, but well, it'll be all right. As you know, this is the little 346 we're building. And when I first took it apart, the crank was kind of stiff. Thought the crank bearing was bad, so I ordered crank bearings put in it. I got bearings put in it, got it put back together. And it was still a little stiff, and I bumped it around and got it loosened up. And it still just didn't feel 100% right, but it didn't feel that bad. And I've been sitting here piddling with it. I made the video yesterday. Well, I was sitting there spinning it just a minute ago, just looking at it while I was sitting here. And I noticed the end of the crank on that side seemed to be going up and down, so I got the dial indicator and put on it, and sure enough, it is going up and down. So, somehow or another, either the crank's got a little bend in it, or it's got twisted somehow. And I don't know which one it is. So what I'm fixing to do is I'm going to separate the crank halves again. I'm going to pull the crank out of it. We're going to put it in the lathe and put the indicator on it and see if we can get an idea of why it is twisted. I know it's a setback, but if you're a builder and you build stuff, it's going to happen. If you don't find it when you're putting it together the very first time, or you don't find it while you're taking it apart, shall I say, then you're liable to find it when you're putting it back together. And apparently this one I just found putting it back together, so that's one of them things. So we're gonna stop on the port job right now. We're gonna pull the crank back out of it. See, I got it where it turns fairly good, but it would not be happy the way it is, and I would not be happy sending it out the way it is, because, well, if you've got some deformation in your crank or some wobble, whatever you want to call it, that's going to slow the RPMs down, and it's not going to have as much power. And well, with these little saws like this, you know, we want it to have as much power as we can have. That's the whole point of doing what we're doing, is to get the power. So I'm going to go on and I'm going to pull the crank back out of it. Hopefully the case will separate with no issue. I really hope my gasket don't tear, because this is the OEM gasket. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't stick to one side and not the other. It usually don't stick, but you never can tell. It looks like we got everything loose. I just want to make sure it's not stuck on the other side. Come on. Trying to get the gasket off there without ripping it. Sit there, fall over. It's stuck on that side pretty good, so yeah, not exactly what you want to be doing when you're trying to get one put together, but I'd rather find it now than have the whole saw put together and be like, what is wrong with this thing? If anybody ever put the wrong flywheel in on the wrong motor on a Ford or a Chevy, you know what I'm talking about. They vibrate. Something fierce. Luckily, it's not that hard to get this back out of here since we just had it mocked up. So we're gonna figure out if this crank is bent or if it's just been twisted. I don't really see any discrepancies in it. Everything looks fine. So let's go over here and check it on the lathe. Getting y'all a shot of this is almost impossible. But I've got the crank in the chuck. Got the dial indicator on it, and I don't know if y'all can see that. I doubt you can. But it's showing just under thousandths of run out on this side right here. See, we're on the side that's clamped in the chuck, and it's showing just right over 1,000, or right under 1,000, I mean, of run out. So we're gonna go to right here. Let's see if we can do this. See if y'all can see that, because this is completely what I would normally say is asinine. That is all right. That's 0. That's 55. There's 55 thousandths of run out in this crank, and I do not know why, but I'm going to give it a shot at straightening it up, because if any of y'all know, I don't know, you can straighten the crankshaft, especially a 3-piece. There's several different ways to do it. Well, we're going to see what we can do. I'm going to attempt to straighten it a bit, and then I will bring you right back and show you whether we get it or if it's going to be something that needs to be replaced. All right, y'all. After some vicious exercise, I'm going to try to spin this where y'all can see it. You can see the needle is not moving, but if you lift up and down on the crank, you can see the needle move. Now I'm just going to zoom right in and then spin it again. It's got probably a 0.5 run out. So yeah, that was some beating and some banging. If you want to know what you use to true up crankshafts, these are two fairly important things. I wasn't going to show it because if somebody goes and beats on their crankshaft and messes it up, I don't want to blame me for it. I know how to true a crank, and I learned how by beating on cranks with a hammer. So with that being said, if you've got a crank that's out and you want it trued, you can beat on it with a hammer. But you have to know which way to go. And well, when I learned how to do it, I basically just took old cranks that were broken, put them on the truing stand, spun them, checked them, then just beat the snot out of them until I learned how to do it. I've never ruined one, but I beat the far out of some. But let's put it back in and see what happens. All right, I got it stuck together, and it moves really slick now. Ain't no trouble turning it now. So, yay. All right, we're back to square one. I didn't film putting it together, so I I didn't see no reason to film putting it together again, but that's much, much better. I can actually turn it with one hand now, or yeah, just by the end of the crank I can turn it. I mean, it's still a little bit stiff, but this bearing on this side has a seal in that bearing, and it makes it stiff. That bearing's hard to turn. And that means this bearing over here that I took out, which the seal felt good on, this bearing here is still good. It was the crank was out of whack is why it was stiff. Now why that is, I have no idea. I don't know if somebody probably twisted it trying to take the clutch off of it or something. The side over here was mangled up pretty good. Somebody probably had it jammed up and was trying to twist the clutch off of it and managed to twist the crank a little bit because it was hung up pretty good. So we got her straightened out though, so yeah, we're gonna get back to we're gonna get on to the getting on. Yeah, that's good. That ought to make it, it'll make it a lot better saw, I can guarantee you that. All right, let me figure out what I'm gonna do and then we'll go from there. All right, y'all. Yeah, I look tireder than I did. I've spent a good bit of time and I didn't film I didn't film any of it. That's why you didn't see any of it. But I've been grinding on the inside of this cylinder for a good little while. Anybody that knows, these are 42 millimeter. So the inside of the cylinder is fairly small. Well, I've been grinding in there, and this is one of the tools that I'm using to grind in there. So this tool is actually that's 28 millimeters right there, and to the tip it's 36 millimeters. So there's the difference. And while that might seem like a lot of room, when you go in there and you try to turn this sideways like this, you notice there's interference. That's why I got this little bitty tool in there. And that's rough too. It's rough. Trust me, it's rough. But I think I got the timing numbers about where I want them. So I've got the cylinder bolted back on. We're going to re-zero it and have a look and see what it looks like. We're going to go down to there, hit 0, and we're going to go back around the hill. That's 143.6. Don't need that in there anymore. We're going to go 143.6. 143.6 divided by 2. 71.8. We're going to roll it back. 71.8. 75, 74, whoop, 71. There we go. All right. Oh yeah, I still got my light on my head, but we're going to use this instead. $72.8. I was shooting for 73, so good enough. 72.8. Right there, 102. 102. 127. So 102, subtract 127, should be 25, I think. 102, subtract 127. Yep, 25. $127. So we got 19,500 of squish, a 72.8 intake, 102 exhaust, and 127 transfer with 25 degrees of blowdown. And I didn't just hit it like spot on, y'all. I really didn't. I got pretty close. Because a lot of times I do get real close just with one, but not always. But I ground this one a little cautiously and then set it on there and checked it. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't film a whole lot of it. But we got the crank nice and true. And that thing is smooth as butter. Oh yeah, I need to show y'all the inside of it, because I know y'all gonna want to see it. She is shiny like new money. I don't know how well y'all can see this, but I spent a good little bit of time grinding on them upper transfers. That exhaust port is way bigger than it was. The intake has just been cleaned. I left it basically the way it was because I like the way it was. And if somebody likes to grind them different than that, that's all fine. I'm trying to build a good, nice work saw that's going to last for a long time. That's what I want to do. It ought to run real good. I checked while I had the case apart, I checked the grinding on the lower transfers to the case and made sure they matched the case. So they're in there good. I was hoping to get more done on this saw today, but being that I had to tear the bottom end back apart, it just ain't gonna happen. So I hate to give y'all another video like this one, because you've had 2 videos on this saw that are basically the same, but that's trying to show y'all kind of what does happen sometimes, and that's just what happens. It's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to go clean the cylinder up a little bit. I may try to go ahead and put the top end on it. I've got lots of cleaning to do, so I may take some of that out there and just spray some stuff on it and let it sit out there and soak overnight or something, and maybe wash it off tomorrow. Might get the little pressure washer out and get after it, because we've got a new sticker to put on it. So I'm trying to make this saw a really nice looking saw, and hopefully everything in it's going to be about new. The crank's going to be nice and true. I still got to find a few pieces over here and a few other things. So y'all, if y'all enjoyed it, go over in the comment section and shoot the breeze. I've been trying to talk to more people. We enjoy reading the comments. I don't always answer all the comments. There's a fella telling me about high-speed steel in the other video. I don't really do a lot of high-speed steel. I buy Corloy inserts that are made for cutting non-ferrous materials like brass, copper, aluminum, magnesium, and stuff like that. And it cuts hands over fists better than high-speed steel. It just does. The finish on the bottom of this cylinder is not the best looking, because I'm using an older insert that's had a good many miles put on it. But I need to change it out. I really do. And it'll leave usually a mirror finish with a rainbow on it. But that's the reason why. I ground high-speed steel. I don't really enjoy it that much. But I do buy the actual inserts for machining aluminum, and I can run a lot higher speeds without burning the tools up. And that's one of the reasons why I don't. Now, I do have some high-speed steel, and occasionally I do grind some. But for this stuff, most of it, it just works so nice to use the Corloy inserts. But I appreciate the comments. So come on there and talk to me. I try to talk back. If it's something like that, I just try to address it in the next video for you, because I have a hard time typing, y'all. I see the buttons are crooked for me and my glasses, and when I'm typing, I spend a lot of time backing up and retyping something I just got done typing. So all right, y'all. Well, I'll leave links in the description on these videos for our apparel store, our Facebook group called Hopper Nation, and my email address. So if you're interested, just go check that stuff out. We appreciate you. If you enjoy it, hit the like button, because you never know what we're going to show next. Subscribe. We do all kind of crazy things around here. So y'all have a good day. Stay safe, be kind, treat each other the way you want to be treated. God bless. Bell Hopper out. Bye.